All right, so we're back on 9.5. I'm going to do number 6 and number 7. So here is 9.5, number 6. This is what it looks like. And the question asks us to find each variable. So if I look here, here's my angle. Let's label our sides first. So labeling our sides, opposite side, hypotenuse, adjacent side. So across from my 32 degrees is my x, which is my opposite side because it's across from it. And then my hypotenuse is always across from my 90-degree angle. So this is my hypotenuse here. And that makes this last, my y, my adjacent side. Okay, so now we're wanting to use a sine, cosine, or tangent to figure out what x and y are. So first let's solve for x. I want to use this side, and then I want to use the other side that has the number. This side here. We want to use those two sides. So I'm going to use my opposite side and my hypotenuse side. Well, let's look at sine and cosine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So to solve for x, I'm going to choose between these two, which one I want to use. Well, the only one with opposite and hypotenuse is sine here, so I'm going to use sine. So sine of my angle, which is 32, equals my opposite side, which is x, over my hypotenuse, which is 18. Put this over 1. I'm going to cross multiply now. I got x times 1, which is just x, equals 18 times sine of 32. So 18 sine 32. This means 18 times sine of 32. That's the same thing. Now all you have to do is stick this in your calculator. So I got 18 sine of 32, and I get 9.5. This is what it looks like in my calculator. 18 sine 32, 9.5. So x equals 9.5. And that is your answer. Okay, so now let's do the same thing but solving for y. Well, y here is my adjacent side, so I want to use this side. And I want to use my side with a number. Well, my hypotenuse has the number, so I'm going to use 18. I'm using those two sides. So I have adjacent and hypotenuse, adjacent and hypotenuse. The only one with adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So now I'm going to do cosine. Cosine of my angle, 32, equals adjacent, which is y, over my hypotenuse, which is 18. I can put this over 1, cross multiply. Y times 1 is just y, equals 18 times cosine of 32. Now again, I just put this guy in my calculator right here and I get my answer. So when I do that, 18 cosine 32, here it is in my calculator, I get 15.3. I round up. So y equals 50.3. And you're done. This is the exact same for number 7. Now when you're putting your answers in and Big Ideas asks you to round to the nearest 10th or 100th, and you don't do that, it will mark it wrong. So make sure you're looking at the directions of what it's asking you to do. All right, so let me set up for number 7. Okay, so number 7 is very similar to the one we just did, number 6. It just has V and W now we want to solve for. Okay, so first here's my angle is 71 degrees. I want to reference all my sides to that angle. So my opposite side to this angle is V here, is my opposite side. Okay, and then my hypotenuse is across from my 90-degree angle, so this is my hypotenuse. And then my adjacent side is this last guy here, is W. Okay, well let's first solve for V. So here's V. I want to use this side, and I want to use the side that has the number, which is number 5 here. So I want to use these two sides, V and 5. That's my opposite and my hypotenuse side. Add a sine or cosine, which one has opposite and hypotenuse? That's sine. So here I'm going to do sine of my angle, which is 71, equals V over 5. That's 5 better. Now I can put this over 1, and I can cross multiply. So V times 1 is just V, equals 5 times sine of 71. I put that in my calculator, 5 sine of 71, and I get 4.7. I'm just making sure I got everything good. Okay, so V should equal 4.7. And that is correct. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing, but now we want to include W instead of V. So if I include this side here, I want to include my side with a number, which is this guy here. I have adjacent and hypotenuse. I want to put those over each other. The only one with adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So we're going to do cosine of my angle, which is 71, equals adjacent over hypotenuse. My adjacent side we don't know, it's W over my hypotenuse, which is 5. Okay, I put this over 1. I cross multiply. No, W times 1 is just W, equals 5 cosine of 71. I put that in my calculator, 5 cosine 71. I get 1.62, so W equals 1.6. And that's my answer there. And then you're good to go.